What happens when we die? Is it the end of our journey, or is it just the beginning? Do we really have a soul, the consciousness? Is there an afterlife?
Because we've now somehow gone beyond the threshold of death, we're able to study what happens to mind and consciousness when the brain is potentially shut down.
Dr. Sam Parnia has spent his entire life studying near-death experiences, and what he has discovered will change everything you thought you knew about life and death and in between that.
We can somehow answer this age-old question that people have had for millennia, which is it the brain cells that are producing your consciousness, or is it some other process that we don't understand yet?
But leaving aside this experiment, let us understand what modern science has to say about when a person dies, or precisely how science defines the moment of death. The moment of death is a complex process involving the shutdown of various bodily functions. Vital functions such as breathing, heartbeat, and blood circulation cease, leading to a decline in metabolic rate and body temperature. Cells die, releasing chemical signals that trigger the breakdown of cell membranes and the release of cellular contents. The blood coagulates, causing rigidity and stiffness in the body, and the muscles relax, leading to a loss of tone and rigidity. The body releases fluids, and the skin can change color, becoming pale, blue, or greenish. The body muscles and joints become stiff and rigid, and livor mortis causes discoloration of the skin due to the settling of blood in the lower parts of the body. Finally, the body cools, feeling cold to the touch, signifying the end of life. But what really happens to the consciousness, the psyche, or the soul as many of us know? Many people with near-death experiences have given shocking testimonials about their consciousness. There are certain experiences by people that can't be explained by science. They're not just hallucinations or dreams. There's something more going on here. So, what does this mean for us? Is there really an afterlife? Let us explore the mystery of life after death. The basis of the experiment conducted by Dr. Parnia. What was it all about? Dr. Sam Parnia and his team at the State University of New York at Stony Brook conducted a study known as the AWARE study, Awareness During Resuscitation, to investigate the nature of consciousness and the mind-body problem, specifically whether consciousness survives bodily death. The study aimed to determine whether people who have been resuscitated from cardiac arrest could provide any evidence of awareness or consciousness during the period when their hearts were stopped and their brains were clinically dead. Dr. Parnia places pictures on the corners of the room, high enough and facing the ceiling which cannot be seen by anybody unless they physically hover on the ceiling from above.
The images vary. What we can then do is simply put an image on this side that's only visible if you're looking from the ceiling down.
From all the participants' experiments, one such case of cardiac arrest was peculiar and drove curiosity. This is significant since it has often been assumed that experiences in relation to death are likely hallucinations or illusions, occurring either before the heart stops or after the heart has been successfully restarted, but not an experience corresponding with real events when the heart isn't beating. In this case, consciousness and awareness appeared to occur during a 3-minute period when there was no heartbeat. This is paradoxical since the brain typically ceases functioning within 20 to 30 seconds of the heart stopping and doesn't resume again until the heart has been restarted. Furthermore, the detailed recollections of visual awareness in this case were consistent with verified events. Well, it's not just Dr. Parnia's experiment. There have been several studies and investigations into the concept of an afterlife or post-mortem existence throughout history, conducted by various scientists, philosophers, and paranormal investigators. While many of these studies have been controversial and inconclusive, they remain interesting and thought-provoking, like the Duncan McDougall experiment, 1901. This study was conducted by physician Duncan McDougall, who attempted to measure the weight of the human soul. McDougall believed that the soul was a tangible entity that could be measured using a specially designed scale. He placed dying patients on the scale and observed a slight decrease in weight just before death, which he attributed to the departure of the soul. Although the study was criticized for its methodological flaws, it remains a famous example of scientific inquiry into the afterlife. The Oliver Lodge Investigation, 1916. Sir Oliver Lodge, a British physicist and pioneer of radio communication, conducted an investigation into spiritualism and the afterlife. Lodge attended seances and communicated with mediums, attempting to establish contact with his deceased son. He published his findings in the book Raymond, which detailed his experiences and provided evidence for the existence of an afterlife. The J.B. Rhine Research, 1920s to 1950s. J.B. Rhine, a parapsychologist at Duke University, conducted extensive research into ESP, psychokinesis, and other paranormal phenomena. His work included investigating claims of ghosts, hauntings, and reincarnation. Although much of his research was met with skepticism, it helped lay the groundwork for modern paranormal investigation. The Moody Hypothesis, 1975. Psychiatrist Raymond A. Moody proposed the idea that near-death experiences were evidence of an afterlife. Moody argued that near-death experiences shared common elements, such as feelings of peace, joy, and a sense of detachment from the body, which suggested a universal experience of transitioning to an afterlife. His hypothesis sparked widespread interest in near-death experiences and their relationship to the afterlife. The Kenneth Ring Investigation, 1980s. Psychologist Kenneth Ring studied near-death experiences and their connection to the afterlife. Ring surveyed over 100 individuals who had experienced near-death experiences and found similarities in their accounts, including descriptions of moving through tunnels, encountering beings of light, and experiencing profound emotions. His work popularized the concept of near-death experiences and contributed to discussions about the nature of consciousness and the afterlife. The Gary Schwartz Experiment, 2002. Psychologist Gary Schwartz and his colleagues from the University of Arizona conducted an experiment testing the validity of mediumship. They recruited 3 mediums and asked them to communicate with discarnate entities, alleged spirits, via a computer interface. The study claimed to provide evidence for the existence of an afterlife, although critics disputed the methodology and results. The Jeffrey Long Investigation, 2006. Physician Jeffrey Long studied over 3,000 cases of near-death experiences and developed a system for categorizing and analyzing them. Long's work emphasized the similarity between near-death experiences and mystical experiences, suggesting a possible connection between the two. He also proposed the idea of a God-centered afterlife, where individual consciousness merges with a divine presence. The Robert Mays Investigation, 2010. Mathematician and statistician Robert Mays examined the relationship between quantum mechanics and the afterlife. Mays proposed that consciousness might be a quantum phenomenon, capable of existing independently of the physical body. He drew parallels between quantum entanglement and the supposed continuation of consciousness beyond death, suggesting that consciousness could persist in a non-local, non-physical realm. So, coming back to the main question, is there really an afterlife? We're left with a sense of wonder and awe at the vastness of the universe and the mysteries that lie beyond our mortal grasp. The concept of an afterlife has captivated human imagination since the dawn of civilization and continues to be a source of fascination and fear. Whether you believe in heaven and hell, reincarnation, or the notion that our souls simply cease to exist, we all somehow feel the powerful force of the unknown. The afterlife, if it exists at all, is a realm that lies beyond the reach of science and empirical evidence. It's a domain that's shrouded in mystery, leaving us only with speculation, theory, and faith. Philosophers, theologians, scientists, and ordinary people like us can endlessly debate on this topic. But perhaps the ultimate answer doesn't matter. Perhaps what's most important is the journey and not the destination. So what are your thoughts on the afterlife? Have you ever encountered any such events in your life? Or maybe you know somebody who might have. Let us know in the comments. Thank you. And until next time, stay curious, keep exploring with World Enigma.